You almost never hear people talk about the negative aspects of building passive income websites. And that's for a very good reason. There are many more awesome things to say about these websites and this business model in general than there are negative sides to it. But of course there are also some downsides. In this video I'll let you in on some of the downsides that I ran into over the last decade as I have been building a lot of these passive income websites. So let's get started. The first thing that people typically get frustrated with when they're building these websites is that they need to write a lot of content. You need to get into a good habit of writing every day or at least every week to get a lot of articles on those websites. So it's really important that you find a good rhythm that works for you on a weekly basis. It's also important that you get your writing up to speed. It's simply no good if it takes you a week before you hit that publish button every time you push new content. It will simply be way too long before you see that income start coming into your account every month. So the solution here, of course, is to outsource some of the writing. So if you have some money to invest in your business, that's great. Just go and do that. Otherwise, as soon as you see some income starting to come into your account and you make some money from the first affiliate sales or you just put ads on your website, start reinvesting into your business and see it as a business. I started outsourcing content around 2 years ago, I think. A little less than that. And it's just the best thing that ever happened. As you might know, today I work with a large team of writers. I think I have 10 or 12 writers right now. And I also have a full-time editor. She's really great and she helps me out a lot on a daily basis. That enables me to spend more time with my family, and also now that we will soon go traveling for a couple of months in our RV, it just really helps me to get things rolling and moving on a daily basis without me having to check in on everything every day. The second thing people typically get frustrated with around this business model is that you work alone for the most part. Many of us are sitting at home in our office and just chugging along on those articles or working with a remote team. So of course there are ways around this, but if you're an extrovert like me, it can be very challenging. So there are many ways that I try to overcome this, and let me share some of the best ways I have found here. The first solution to this problem is to meet other bloggers and other people who are in the same boat as you are. Maybe you can find a local group of bloggers, or you can find a mastermind group that meets in your area. If you cannot do that, you can also go out to conferences. I like to do that a lot. As you might know, we are based in Denmark of all places, so there's not a lot of people here for me to network with when it comes to building English websites with a lot of content on them. But I would say if you're just starting out, don't waste your time going to conferences and stuff. Just get started with a good solid rhythm on a daily basis so you can chunk out that content. But further down the line you might find that you need to get out and you need to meet other people, of course. So do that and go to these conferences and look up these groups and meetups wherever you can find them to meet other like-minded people. These groups have given me some really great insights many times. Some of the best things I have learned has come from peers that I have met in mastermind groups or in online forums or even over Skype calls where I have just reached out to a YouTuber or another blogger and asked them if they wanted to talk with me. Some of my best friends today are some people that I have met at some of these events and some of these bloggers meetups. There's a ton of great people out there just like you, waiting to meet you and network with you and learn what you know. Another way to overcome this problem of sitting home alone in front of your computer all day is to join a co-working space or maybe get a shared office space. I have tried this I think 3 times now, and I always tend to move back into our apartment simply because when I sit in a shared office space there will always be a ton of people coming up to me because they want to know how I can make this happen. You know, we have a very sexy business model and people want to know all about it, and you might not be as interested in hearing exactly which item of clothes they are selling on their baby webshop during their pregnancy. The balance I have found here that works well for me is that most days I work right here at home where I have my nice computer screen set up and everything, and then once in a while, maybe once or twice a week, I go to a cafe or I go downtown to a coffee shop to work from there. By doing that I can get out of the apartment sometimes, but I will not get interrupted all the time because the people around me are just sitting there doing their own thing and they don't even know me. So the last way you can overcome this problem is, of course, to build a team of people around you so you're simply not working alone on your project. And this is something I recommend everybody doing down the road as soon as you start making some income with your sites. I have a full-time editor and I'm in the process of finding a full-time or half-time VA, a virtual assistant to help me out with some of the day-to-day tasks. And as you know, I have a big team of writers. So altogether, I have quite a large team. And then I also talk with my affiliate managers and the ad network managers, and I have some of my friends and colleagues and people I know from the industry. On top of that, I have a lot of contacts and other YouTubers and other bloggers and people working in the same field that I know from events and mastermind groups, and they reach out to me and I hit them up on Skype and we can have a chat going there. So I don't feel like I'm sitting all by myself, even though it might look so. The next thing that sometimes frustrates people is that things can get boring over time. Let's say you have this website that you're really not extremely passionate about, or maybe you were in the beginning, but after a while, it's not that interesting to write your website about golf carts or tennis socks or whatever niche you chose to go into. The way I overcome this is that I work with a portfolio of websites. The smaller sites are some old sites that I have been working on like forever, and they are extremely passive. Just yesterday I logged into a site and I could see that every plugin and the theme and everything was outdated. I had not logged into that site for around a year, and that's how passive these sites can be. I get to work on one site for a couple of weeks, and then I can move on to the next one and to the next one and the next one. And after a couple of months, I can come back to this first site, and now some things are starting to work out, and there's some things that I can dig more into, and I can see some of the results of the work that I did. Having a portfolio of sites is something that I see many of the bigger publishers out there do, and it's something I would totally recommend you do as well, as soon as you have started building up one or two sites that are getting some traffic. Another negative aspect to building these sites is that... No, sorry guys, I cannot come up with another negative thing to say about these sites. This business model is simply so awesome, and the pros by far outweigh the cons. Just being able to work from home, working where you want, whenever you want, and just pause your job for a month or two to go travel whenever you want to, that's just awesome. Now we've been doing this for many years, and I could never imagine going back to anything else. And if you have been following along on my channel for a while, you also know that I have spent around the last decade figuring out just exactly how can I make websites that are as passive as humanly possible. I'm actually shooting this video in the middle of the lockdown due to this corona crisis. So this is a great opportunity and a great time to sort of step back a little bit and look at your business and look at your work life and see what works and what doesn't work in a situation like this. So right now Max is home all day, he's not in the kindergarten, and of course that turns everything on the head, because having a toddler around you all day long, it just makes it very, very hard to get anything done. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you have kids. But I'm also happy to say that this is not a big problem for us, because I'm able to step back for a while and just work very, very few hours. I think I've only worked like 5 or 10 hours this week, and normally I work closer to 20 or 30 hours per week. So because our entire business is now built around these passive income sites, my team of writers, they can still log in from home, and my editor will still do business as usual, and everything is simply going as it used to. So the way we are getting impacted is that ad rates and some affiliate offers are going down, or at least they are declining a bit. So we did see a little dip in traffic, but across all our sites, only like around a 15% dip. So it's still a very, very good and strong business model, even for times like this where people are getting sent home from their work, without notice. We are not affected by that at all. I mean, our revenue went down a little bit. That doesn't mean anything, because it's a really, really strong business model where you get to keep a lot of the money that you earn on a monthly basis. So the best advice I have for you is to diversify and have several websites. Like I said, I have a portfolio of bigger sites that I'm working on. Try to do that so you don't have all your eggs in one basket. I know some people who are only having one really big site, in the travel niche, for example, and they have gotten hit really hard now as all the airports have shut down You cannot even travel, you can't even cross borders here in Europe right now. So remember to diversify. Spend some of your own time building up new sites and allocate some of those writers to new projects, just to diversify, and that will also enable you to sometimes sell a website and just take home all that money while you continue growing your portfolio of sites. I'll talk much more about that on this channel. Remember to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. See you next time.